Welcome to the Paranormal Gateway ParaTalk. I have a short announcement. Teresa will not be with us tonight. Her son-in-law will take us from school to go to a family event at racing. So congratulations to him. She's spending some family time tonight. So I hope they have a lot of fun. Tonight, as you see, we're having Miranda Young and the Ghost Biker. Miranda is always interested in paranormal for as long as she can remember. As a child, you can find her in the library reading books about ghosts and folklore, or visiting with her grandmother who would often share stories about growing up in the Appalachian Mountains. She began investigating with a team in 2013, with that into 2018. Her role in the team consisted of photo analyst, video audio evidence producer, and marketing specialist, as well as an investigator. While fully involved with the team, when she found her spare time, she is traveling, exploring a great deal on her own. She would often take photos of these locations and share them on Facebook. These photos started getting a lot of attention, and people kept messaging her, asking her what the stories are behind these images. This is how Ghost Biker Explorations was born. Because Miranda is out on a bike taking photos every chance she gets and doing little investigations, she thought, why not chronicle these adventures through video? Miranda loves investigating big locations, but through this project, she discovered that every little town has a ghost story that citizens have heard all their lives, or an abandoned location that they drive by every day. Her goal was to visit these towns, spotlight the areas, and tell the story, or either investigate the location or explore it. Some of her interests are motorcycles, photography, drawing art, running, paranormal investigating, and jeeping. Without further ado, here is Miranda.
Hey,
Hey,
Scott. Hey,
that's a mouthful.
I know, right? I had to give you a lot to put in there.
I know,
How you doing?
good. I have a middle of a paranormal investigation hangover still, from the other day, but I'll be fine, right?
Gotta love those paranormal hangovers.
Yeah, but it's worth it usually.
Absolutely.
Well, this says in beginning about being interested in doing researching and reading. At that age, did you experience something, or was it just your kind of stories that got you interested in it?
For me, what got me really interested in the paranormal is the storytelling and the history aspect of it.
Mm.
My grandma, she always shared a lot of different stories about growing up down here in East Tennessee in the Appalachian Mountains. And my dad, he would always share stories about, sort of the ghosts of how towns and locations used to be. And so he would always take me out riding, usually on the weekends, and showing me and telling me about some of these locations. So really, that's where I gained my love for the paranormal and history is from that storytelling. I didn't really experience anything until I was much older and really started going out and investigating and looking for different types of paranormal activity.
Well, through this years with you or your team, do you actually have an experience that said, wow, there's something really out there?
Yeah. I've always been a believer, but I
You
do
still.
yeah, I come at it with more of a skeptical believer
Oh, yeah,
approach.
we do that
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
Yeah, really just trying to go in and see if some of the things that we're capturing whether I can explain it or not. I really try to go in and look at it like that. But when I started investigating with a team, I was doing their photo analyzing as well as creating their videos and doing their social media and marketing. And, we started having experiences right from that first investigation. And of course, I was totally hooked at that point. We investigated a bar in Chattanooga, which is on a marina. And that very night, there was just myself and two other guys, and we were capturing women's voices. We were also catching Hispanic EVPs. The restaurant is actually a Mexican restaurant, and so um, we and there was none of us there that spoke Spanish. So it was really kind of easy to to kind of go and qualify that evidence because there was no one else on the property and no one had spoken Spanish. So and we also had a lot of flashlight activity. I was touched for the
Mm-hmm.
first time that night,
Wow.
and some really good Class A intelligent EVPs. And so I was invited back to do a couple more investigations, and then they invited me to join the team.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, we pretty much investigated somewhere once a month. Sometimes it was a big commercial location. We also did a lot of residential cases,
It's all
and
around. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we would travel all over for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like you had said in my introduction, over after you know 8 years of investigating with the team, I found that I was doing a whole lot on my own, and so back in 2018, I ended up stepping away from the team and doing Ghost Biker full time. And so now, for the most part, I'm a solo investigator, but I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy doing collaborations. So when I'm at these different locations, I'm either by myself or with a videographer if I'm not doing a collaboration.
Well, come up north, the rest of your list.
I'll do it. You all go to some fun places.
Yeah, yeah, we try. Um, yeah, we want to do some bigger locations. It's been a while since we all got a chance to get together and do it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now we're at the point we can get out and do more. But like we're getting older, so
yeah. And that's
yeah.
that's what's always a lot of fun is when you find other people that share the same investigation style
Hmm.
and share the same passion. There's some people it really enjoy going in and doing more of the jump scare sort of thing.
Yeah,
For me, the history is what's always number one, as
right.
well as the storytelling. And if we get paranormal activity, that's just icing on the cake.
Well, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I've been really fortunate to find some great teams that share the same passion for history
Mhm.
and research. And so anytime I get the opportunity to collaborate with another team that's like that, I really am honored.
Yeah, we've actually been together for about 10 years now. Yes. Um, I knew the one guy since grade school. So,
Oh wow.
yeah. Um,
It's always nice when you can find a team that you can
yeah,
work well with, because
yeah,
that's kind of hard.
yeah. But Teresa, we started together like 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. But
Right.
then we started talking, yes. But it's probably a hard question for you to answer. But did you have any favorite locations?
That is a hard question. I'm sure that's
I
a
knew
pretty
I'd
hard
get you
question.
on that one.
Yes, it is because it's like asking someone to choose their favorite child. Each one of the
But I
locations that
try.
right,
And
exactly.
don't do it.
Each of the different locations that I investigate are I enjoy them for different reasons, and
Oh yeah, that makes
a
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the ones that I would classify in my top favorites. One would have to be the Grand Old Lady, which is located in Balsam, North Carolina,
Hmm.
and it's a hotel that was built in the early 1900s, and they have 100 rooms. But they've condensed it. I believe it's down to 58 rooms now, and they've got the rooms. They kept them very rustic. The rooms don't have TVs in them, and they close down during the winter months and are only open during from spring to late fall because of how harsh the winters are in North Carolina. So they've
Shining.
yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of when we were investigating. It was really a psychological type haunting, and you can really,
Right.
when you're in there, understand how a location that's closed down because they don't rent it out when they're open. They only allow paranormal investigations when they're closed,
Also,
and
stop praying
so
3 months out of the year, huh?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so it's one of those things where, um, you know, again, there's some great stories that go along with the hotel, and I'd heard wonderful things about it. And after I went and investigated, that was a collaboration investigation that we highlighted on season 3, which would have been last year
Yeah,
of Ghost Biker,
yeah,
and I collaborated with Soul Sisters Paranormal on that one. We had it for the full weekend. I investigated solo the first night, and then they
yeah. I saw
investigated
that.
the second.
They come in a second. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then probably the other one would have, or one of the other ones would have to be Brushy Mountain State Prison here in Petros, Tennessee.
Hmm.
I've investigated that one on 6 different occasions, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, prisons are really cool because there are so many different stories and so many different
Um,
avenues that you can take that investigation, and each
is,
time
is
was different.
that the one that had the guy kill Martin Luther King? Dr.
It
Martin?
was.
Yeah,
It was James Earl Ray,
he's
and
already.
he was
Yeah.
one. Yeah, he was one of the few who actually escaped. He didn't get very far, and they did find him, but he did escape from there. And yeah, I spent, like I said, I've investigated there 6 times. On the third time I investigated there, I actually slept in the solitary confinement area known as the Hole, and it was part of a 2-night investigation. And there was only 2 other females on the property, and those were the people who run the paranormal investigations. They were asleep at base camp, and I slept for 3.5 hours and got 3 minutes and 15 seconds of what I would consider some of my best evidence. But that one has been really interesting because Brushy Mountain State Prison is now a tourist attraction. They make
Mm-hmm.
moonshine there, and they've got a
Yeah, I saw
restaurant.
that.
Exactly. And so when I
Yeah.
started in, I grew up not too far from there. And so I started investigating there before they opened.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first 3 investigations, they hadn't built the new buildings, they hadn't torn down the older buildings, and it was very, very much like it was whenever they shut down. And so it was really cool to watch the activity change over those courses of investigating, those over those 6 different times, because I felt like the activity really transitioned once they started having customers and different tourists come in during the day and building new buildings. So that's
Yeah.
definitely another one of my favorites.
Yeah. I saw one episode about that, and I saw all the shivs they had laying there. Oh my
Yes,
god, there's a lot of killings in there. Do they used to beat the prisoners and stuff for not getting
they
work
did.
done?
They did, because the prison was actually built because of all the mines that are up there in the mountains, and convict labor was what's actually started the prison, because there was the whole Coal Creek War, where the miners, the people who were actually miners by trade,
Yeah,
had gotten into it with the state because they were using convict labor, and it was
right.
taking work from them. So they
We
ended up
take money
building.
from
Exactly. Ended up building Brushy Mountain Prison, and that's what they
them.
used to in the mines. And so if the prisoners, they had a quota, and if they didn't
Yeah.
make their quota, then they were actually beat.
The last trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You know,
It's weird. Go ahead.
oh, yeah, I was just going to say, those locations are definitely 2 of my favorite. My
Mm-hmm.
my passion really lies for the smaller, lesser known, non-commercial locations. Those are ones that I really love to investigate
Yeah,
because you can really talk about the area, the travel, the tourism, as well as tell some interesting stories. Not that the big
right,
commercial locations don't have those stories, but they're very well known, and they're very tend to
right.
be over
Yeah.
investigated.
We used to like
So
doing bars and restaurants and shit
yes,
too.
yes,
Yeah, we like
because
doing those.
yeah, there's just such rich stories when
We
it
got
comes
we
to some of
done
these different
we done
places.
some bed and breakfast and hotels, and they're fun too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like the hotels. It's something different. Brushy has this really dark history, and when you go in there, you're dealing with the worst of the worst people, and so you may get more aggressive type activity from there. Whereas the hotels, I like those because again, it's sort of the same situation. You have so many different spirits and so many different types of energies that are passing through these locations, but they're there for a different reason. They're
Yeah.
there for a happier, um, people used to go to the specific hotel that I was talking about. People used to go there during the summer and spend their summers there. And so, they would ride the train in. It was supposed to be, the mountain air was supposed to be really good for their health. And so obviously they're there for a totally different reason than what someone would be
Oh,
at Brushy
yeah.
Mountain for.
That's to say it's war, but
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
All right.
Hey,
So,
Janet. Hey,
eh,
Chris.
the EVP's in the hole.
Yes.
You want to explain that one?
Yeah. So thank you, Janet. That is one of
Thanks, Janet,
one
for
of my
coming on.
favorites as well. So what she's talking about are the EVPs that I captured while I was sleeping there in the solitary confinement area known as the Hole at Brushy Mountain Prison. The hole is just like it sounds. It is down in a hole, and it is dark whether it's daytime or nighttime.
Mm.
And when the prisoners would misbehave, they would be put in these cells, and they could be kept in there for up to a month. And so you know how it is when you're deprived of your senses
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
sitting in the dark for so long. People would come out, they couldn't see. Some of them had a hard time walking, so it was very
Oh,
inhumane
yeah.
treatment. And so what's interesting about this location is, so Brushy Mountain, it's like any other prison. It's got the gates going around it. And then there's several other little buildings that's within inside of the complex, but not actually inside the prison. And so the hole is kind of off to the side there, with the laundry area over the top and the wood shed or wood shop to the
Mm.
side. And so when I slept in there, I got really loud footsteps, sounded like they came up
Mm.
to the door, and
Mm.
something told me night night in this extremely creepy voice. I did not hear any of this in the moment, because when I say I had the best sleep that I've ever had, I truly did. I don't know if it was because I had investigated all night long and I was resting up and just exhausted, um, getting ready for the next night. I'm not sure, but I slept. I mean, I went into a deep sleep. And so I had my audio recorder and my camera on me, and also was able to capture voices coming between the cells. There were no men on the property, and so there was all these male voices that I was capturing, and they were real muffled, so you could tell they were in each separate cell. I also captured a really deep voice saying "Help me," and then a whisper following that. We caught sounds of laughter and communication going on upstairs in the laundry area. And again, there was no power in the area. And so, the dryers, they've got that distinct sound whenever the dryer door opens and when a dryer door is running. And so I captured what I believe was residual sounds of the dryer going.
Wow.
Again, no power there.
That's cool.
And and yeah, and the other thing, I really didn't figure this out until later on, but during that 3.5 hours, I captured 5 solid minutes of something that sounded like a ball being bounced either against the wall and on the floor, or on the floor and up against the wall. And it was just this continual repetitive bounce sound, almost the sound that like a racket ball would make, little rubber ball. And so I was telling this story on another podcast, and one of the guys used to be a former corrections officer, and he said, that actually makes sense, because during that time in the late 70s and early 80s, it was not uncommon to give prisoners a rubber ball to use in these
Bouncing
areas.
off the wall. Yeah.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
they weren't able to really use that to fashion into a weapon like they
Right.
could other items. So that just really helped to kind of make what I was hearing kind of give an explanation for that. So yeah, I mean that's probably some of the best evidence. And so because of that, that was actually the first time that I slept in a location. And so I've really tried to incorporate that in that type of investigating, in the investigations I do. If I'm at a location to where where I'm either spending a full night or spending at least 12 hours at, I always like to budget 2 or 3 hours to sleep, but also to set up my recorders, set up the audio, and put that on me while I sleep, because I feel like I've found during the different investigations that I've done, the type of activity that I get while I'm sleeping is a lot different than the type of activity I get when I'm actively investigating. And so it's been interesting to study that and really try to determine why that might be happening. It may be because you're in that more vulnerable state. You're in a closer state of communication. You're just, you're just really out of it in that more astral projection
Right.
type environment. Or it could be the fact I really don't get scared or
Right.
intimidated when I'm at these
Mhm.
locations. Maybe, that kind of puts you in that more calmer state.
Volleyball. Yeah.
Exactly. And maybe the spirits actually feel more comfortable
Mhm.
because you're in that state. So it's been really interesting to look at the way the activity changes when that's happening. And it's definitely something. If I can do it, I don't like to spend the entire investigation doing that, but it is definitely an experiment that I like to try when I'm doing these types of investigations.
Did you get to Hinsdale?
I have not done Hinsdale yet.
We did.
That's
Yeah.
that's
We
one
did.
I've been wanting to do.
Got a Hinsdale shirt on.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
we
Did you
did.
enjoy it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, you reminded me of that you said that the spirit said nighty night to you. Well, I
Yes.
had one that said good night to me at Hinsdale.
Very cool. Did you sleep there?
Yeah, we slept 2 nights.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. We had a great time.
I've heard it's a very active location, and I know Daniel Class is just a really, really nice
Yeah,
stand-up
he
guy.
is. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
nice. We had him moderate too. So yeah,
very
he's
cool.
fun. Yeah, he's fun. Oh, I got one for you.
Okay.
Last 3 or 4 years filming and documenting the shows, did you ever have any bloopers or funny moments you want to
Oh,
share?
yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I actually, during my first season, I actually did put out a blooper episode, and actually probably ought to put that back out there. And then I've had some others that, because things really took off a lot quicker than I thought they would, um, I I've not put out some of the stuff that we've gotten from the second and third season, and I've had some pretty fun things. We try to keep it light, just because
Yeah,
it gets so serious. But
we,
with
we're serious and we like to have fun too.
exactly,
You have to. You have to do it because it breaks the, makes us feel a little better.
exactly,
Lighten the
and
mood.
yeah, and I'll share one of those moments with you, because I had just gotten a new body camera. My friend Dr. Sumner from Soul Sisters had
Mhm.
bought me a body camera, and so we were investigating at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. I had just taken this thing out of the box and I just clipped it to my shirt and was going up the lighthouse, got almost up to the very top, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I either leaned forward or looked over, and the way that that was sitting right here, I also had a bag. And I think when I leaned forward, my shoulder strap on my bag hit the body camera, and that thing bounced all the
Oh
way down to the
no.
bottom of the lighthouse. Yeah. It's meant
Oh
to
no.
survive a bullet, but it is not meant to survive a fall from a lighthouse.
Yeah, especially what they're like iron stairs or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. And we heard it hit all the way down. And
Like, well, it took like 3 minutes to get to the bottom of it.
yeah, yeah, and I see Dr. Sumner's comment in there. It recorded 4 minutes of video before the Great Plunge, and
And then
it's
all
it's
you hear is,
scary.
all you hear is I'm
Yeah,
recording it way now.
yeah, and you hear me yelling like, "Oh no." So it was I was so upset about that. And I felt so bad because, being a one person investigator, there's a lot of different challenges when filming these episodes. So, because I do all of my own self production
Right.
and all my own editing.
That's awesome.
If I have a videographer with me, then obviously they're holding the camera, and we try to film all of my episodes in the style where it puts the other people who are watching the show in the moment. And, you know, and at other times I'm filming vlog style. So I was really excited about this body camera because I thought that it was going to really be something that would kind of help show my point of view, just help to add video angles to sort of relieve some of the stress of either if it's just me or if I have that other videographer with me.
Right.
And so I did end up getting it replaced. I've got two body cameras now, but man, I was so upset and so looking forward to using it. So yeah, but that's one that can definitely be added to the bloopers.
Do you do anything the Perry Gwen like relaxation techniques or anything to prepare? Or
I do, and that's actually where the motorcycle comes in on this. Is there's
Mhm.
no better way to get grounded and get relaxed and get centered than riding that motorcycle before an investigation. I find that I'm able to really use that time to sort through my thoughts, really plan things out. Now, I don't always end up going. I mean, I may have a plan, but then I get into the location and I would really like to let the location kind of tell me the best place to investigate.
Right.
But yeah, that's the best way because I always want to go in if I'm stressed, I feel it on the investigation. If I'm
Yeah.
upset or whatever, I always like to go
It
in.
always carries you over. You gotta make sure it doesn't. That could be tough for some people, you know.
It
And
can. It can. And I think it can really affect the investigation.
mhm.
And so I always try to be as calm, let everything go, focus, be in the moment, trying to get what I'm there for, which is trying to get that evidence and trying to share that story. So I do that. And I also always do a prayer of protection beforehand,
Yeah.
and then I
Hmm.
always do one after.
Right. Right. Preparing clay for first. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about the Scott County Jail roll? Are we
Sure. Sure.
bring that up because I want to get down there. I want to know about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You guys have
I'll be trying to come down. Yeah.
got to get down here, make that trek from Ohio down.
You
Um,
might have to fit this in on Tuesday. Is that okay?
yeah. Just let us know. Yeah,
Okay.
so I am actually here at the Scott County Jail tonight,
Hey.
and this is another example of para-unity and such. My business partner, Dr. Chris Sumner, that I mentioned a little
Mhm.
bit earlier with Soul Sisters Paranormal, we had decided that we were wanting to do something kind of different and kind of fun, and so we formed the company History Highways and Haunts LLC
Oh,
and approached the town of Huntsville here in northern Tennessee, which is my hometown, and approached them about opening the historic Scott County Jail. This building it was built in 1904, and it was a working jail up until 2005, and officially closed in 2007. And so they got a grant to remodel and to fix it up. And so they painted, put air conditioning in, put windows in, heat as well. And then it set vacant up until, and they did that in 2017, and it set vacant up until 2021, whenever we approached the
wow.
mayor and the town.
Hmm.
Yeah, with our plan, we wanted to open it as a museum. And so it is a true crime and punishment museum for the area of Scott County. And then it also has law enforcement appreciation area as well as memorial. And then it's also open for paranormal investigations. And at this point, we've had three different investigators. Well, three in since we've opened. There's been several more total. I was the first person to investigate it in 2014, and it was before they had done all the remodeling. And like as you can see behind me here, I'm in the booking room, and all of the stuff that's on the wall there are original when it shut down. So there are posters back here from the early 2000s of missing people as well as people who are wanted.
Oh
And
wow.
so yeah, so it's like it was at that time. And but we've had, like I said, we've had three different investigating teams since we opened 2 weeks ago, and I tell you, they've had some pretty cool activity. I'm really looking forward to these folks putting their
Yeah.
videos out and putting everything out. I know, like I said, I've investigated it several times now, and Dr. Sumner and her team, and then we've collaborated some here, and we've got a lot of different stuff that we're going to release. We released a video clip last Sunday of something that we had captured while we were here. We caught like we were up in the trustee area, and we caught a voice saying, "Girls, you're going to die,"
Oh
and it
my.
was clearly male. Clearly male. We
Uh,
were the
uh,
only ones on the property. But it is a three-story facility and was built to hold 50 inmates at one time. I know from stories and stuff that we've been hearing, there was overcrowding at some point, so there were more. The second level has it has the kitchen as well as trustee cells. The trustee cells hold 8 to 10 inmates at one time, and then up on the third floor, it was built in 1922, and it is maximum security. So it has 9 cells in there. One of them is a trustee as well as a female cell that I think it held 6 prisoners at one time,
for a sale?
and in the one
Oh,
upstairs.
all right, all
Yeah,
right.
six
Okay,
six women or 6 trustees, and
right.
then the other cells either hold anywhere from 2 to 3 inmates to there's one administrative segregation and suicide or psych, which
So,
is
yeah.
yeah, has one in there. So it's got a variety, a lot of different history, a lot of different stories of things that have happened here, that's really unique and interesting to the area. So it's definitely, and like I said, we've got a lot of true crime stuff that's happened here in this area that we're highlighting. So it's been really cool to watch a lot of the locals come in and share stories about their families, because there's a lot of family lineage with the sheriffs and
Oh,
deputies and stuff that are here. Yeah, so they share things about their time that they spent in here. A lot of kids, a lot of adults now that talked about being kids here at the jail. Their grandma was one of the cooks or was the sheriff, and so they spent time in
wow.
here. Yeah, in several people who learned to cook in here. So really just some really cool stories. That's been neat. And then also just opening it up to the community and having people from other areas come in and experience this local treasure. So yeah, it's been an exciting and fun venture.
I bet. Do you have a video, like walkthrough of it?
We
Let
don't
me
have
through like a little tour or something through.
we don't have one up just yet. I know that some of the different videos, I know some of the different investigators, they have videos and such up that have walkthroughs. We have not put one. We do have an audio tour where people can listen. That audio
Oh,
tour
that's
is on the
cool.
website.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. And so we're working at really growing this location. We're going to be having a lot of really cool events in October for Halloween and for spooky
Oh,
season.
I wish I'd get
Yeah.
time for that. That'd be fun.
Yes, yes. So we've got the public, or excuse me, the private investigations that, of course, like myself and like you and your team would do, and then we're going to be having public ghost hunts, which will be led by myself and Dr. Sumner, and then which will be open to the community, and then we're going to actually have flashlight tours where they don't investigate, but we bring them in and do an after dark tour and share different ghost stories. So all of that's going to be going on
Mm-hmm.
here in October, as well as some things for kids as well.
Wow, that's cool too.
Really,
That's
the main thing is just trying to get the word out that we're open and that we're doing
right.
this, because it has set closed for so long. So
Yeah.
really just getting the
For
word
years.
out.
Plus, I guess when you first got it, you walked in and you're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" Because probably a lot of stuff to do to it to get it up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was any damage to it that you have to fix or?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it like I said, where it's sat abandoned for so long, and then also the paranormal is new here in this area. So it's one of those things where, really trying to um, sort of educate the community about what we do with the paranormal, and really just, like I said, just kind of getting the word out. But it's actually one of the better, as far as condition type locations that I've ever been. It's we've got heat and air, so you're comfortable when you come in.
Oh, yeah.
And we've uh, Dr. Sumner and I really worked hard to really clean it up. The town did really well when they remodeled it, but then we've tried to really clean it up. It's probably one of the I guess cleaner locations I've ever been in.
All right. That's nice. It was like more people and yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
And I see where Janet, she asks if we got Wi-Fi. We do actually have Wi-Fi here at the jail.
Oh,
We
cool.
have it on the first floor. So the jail is, if you've seen any of the outside pictures, I know you were kind enough to share all that information in your newsletter. We The jail is built like a small castle, and so it's got these very, very thick stone walls from sandstone that was mined here in the community. So the Wi-Fi, it doesn't, I think on my phone, it reaches a little bit up to the second level, but the second and third levels doesn't really have a lot of connectivity up
Mm-hmm.
there, just because you're going through these really thick stone levels.
Yeah.
But down here on the first floor, we do have Wi-Fi, and so we hope to definitely do maybe some live investigations and
Mm-hmm.
such from here over the next little bit to really introduce people with what we're doing here.
All right. I used to take my little hotspot along just
Yep.
in case.
With the rise in lives, a lot of people, that's been a big question that a lot of folks have asked us, is if we have
Right.
Wi-Fi. And we're actually going to be starting a Dr. Sumner and I starting a podcast from here soon. So having Wi-Fi
Awesome.
was something that was
I'll be
really
tuning
important.
in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we want to really share some stories about the jail, as well as have, I think our first guest will be the mayor, and really let him talk about the town, and really have different people on here who are connected with the jail, as well
Mm-hmm.
as some really fun things we've got planned. So we'll be announcing that and starting that real soon.
Is that gonna be like once a week? Did you pick a day yet or
Yeah, it should be probably right now. The plan is once a week.
okay.
Yep.
Cool. That's awesome.
Well,
You
thank
guys
you.
you guys did a good job on the place. I can't wait to get down there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you've definitely got to come down and check it out.
Yeah. We'll get down there. It might be the first quarter of next year, but we'll get down there.
Well, we have heat, so
Yeah,
so
that's a
uh,
good
so
thing.
that's the good thing. Yeah, because I know a lot of places, you go to investigate, and we've got working restrooms and stuff. So I've been to a few places where no power, which power, not having power is good to a point,
Oh
because
yeah.
you
But
you
there's
can
a
cut out
fierce.
some.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we do actually, we flip the power here so that investigators can investigate in the dark, and
Yeah.
and
Like them,
also,
yeah, false reading.
exactly, and we
Yeah.
allow them to we turn the heat and air down so that they don't have that sound. We try to do everything that we can to really cut back cut back on any type of interference, any type of sound contamination. So, um, and I see where Janet asks if the AC is in the whole building or the first floor. It's actually on all three levels. They've got that was one of the things that they did whenever they got the grant for this location is they put heating and air on all three floors.
Yeah, the best investigation we at Post Town is so hot in here. Oh my god,
Yes,
it was awful. But
yes, yeah. We
you
were we were
gotta do
just
it,
at
right?
yeah, we were just at Post Town last month, and that was a really fun investigation. We made a girls' trip out of it, and it was really cool to. I plan to highlight some of that evidence because we really did have a lot of activity, but I think we actually got more than what we realized, and so. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to going through that evidence, and
Uh,
it was cool to just go with these two other teams, these three other
right.
ladies, because I felt like I really learned a lot from their different techniques and their different styles.
Right.
So that was always really cool. And Post Town was one of the best places to do that, I think, because it
Big.
is a known, yeah, exactly. It's a known active location. You
Right.
can investigate together or investigate separate and not run into each other. And then also, we didn't really get anything negative and didn't really feel anything
Yeah.
negative. And so that's always good when you're kind of experimenting with other
Right.
people.
Right. I was we were late actually, so we're going back again. Not sure. Maybe again. Not
Was that your
soon
first time?
because yeah, that was our first time going, and
Yeah, that
it'll
was mine
be
too.
we a great time. There a lot of activity, a lot.
I'll tell you another place in Ohio there that I really enjoyed investigating was at the Bel Air House. Have you ever investigated there?
We want to do that, but
Highly
that's what
recommend it.
yeah, that's on our list. That's in the uh, what is that one? Well, it's all the time to do a prospect place too. Um,
Yeah, and
we
what's
didn't
cool
get there
about
yet
it?
either.
Okay, well, what's cool about that one is it's it's right there on the West Virginia border. It's literally the river is right there, and so just across the river is Moundsville Penitentiary, and then
Hmm.
also Steve Hummel's Archive of the Afterlife Museum. So a lot of really cool places.
Yeah, I want to get to that. I saw that earlier. I seen a tour of that. I'm not sure we did it, but the
Yes,
afterlife
yes,
thing that'd be good
yes.
enough to go there just for that. I think.
It's worth it just to go for that. I mean,
Hmm.
Steve is fantastic, and that location. So you can tour his museum. He really has quite a collection of archive.
Hmm.
Excuse me, of pieces, and he's he also offers an investigation, so you can pay to spend the night there and investigate some of his relics and stuff that he has, and it's quite the active little place. I've not spent the night investigating, but I did have him on my live stream, and he was talking about some of the different items. And I've toured that location on three different occasions, and so very reasonable priced. And then if you're hitting the Bel Air house because you can spend the night in there, you can actually make a good weekend and hit several really cool
Ah, that'd
locations.
be cool. I think I
Yeah.
saw an episode of that museum that they call a doll was a con doll movie or something. Do you see that episode?
I did see that episode. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
um yeah, and that's the thing. Some of the most interesting and unique hauntings that I've ever experienced have been locations that have been in the Ohio area as well as
hmm.
Indiana. Just I don't know if it is the geography, if they're, with the Bel Air house, they say there are a lot of ley lines, they say that there's portals.
Right.
That house just has, I mean, every time I've been there, it's just bizarre the activity they have and the way it affects you when you're in those locations. The first time I did it, I was with one other female, and it was pretty creepy. Just, I don't know. Both of us felt like at times we were almost in like sort of in a dream world. Like you sort of tend to lose touch with reality. And I was speaking to a team out of Pittsburgh, and they often travel there to investigate, a team of all ladies. And we were talking about it. We were there at the Archive of the Afterlife, and we both, it was so funny because she was talking, one of the ladies was talking about the activity they had there, and she described it the same way. And I was like, that's crazy you say that, because we were both just talking about just how odd the activity is. And so I know it's been highlighted on several shows. I think the Bel Air House, I think I saw where it is on the new season of Unsolved Mysteries. So
Oh, I'll
yeah,
check that out. Yeah.
yeah. And Kristen Lee is just fantastic. She's the lady that owns and runs it, and she'll she can hook you guys up. It's
Right.
definitely a place I would recommend, and it's one of my favorites. I've not done an episode on it. I have enough footage and enough activity. I should um, highlight it, because it really is a unique location that I always look forward to
Right.
going to when I can.
I always try to hook up and do it together. Get our
Sure,
shoes together sometime down the
sure.
road. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah, just about Ohio and Indiana. Right now I'm in Ohio and Teresa's in Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, I've done two places in Indiana, and both of them were just very interesting locations. Revenant Acres, that's one of my favorites. I highlighted that in season 2. I think
What's
it
it
was
called?
Revenant Acres.
I think
I
she
think
used to say something about that.
I think it's in Charlottesville. Now, when I investigated it, they actually don't allow investigations anymore. And I had heard, now I don't know if this is true, but I had heard that they were actually going to tear it down, or
Oh.
had torn it down.
Mm,
I don't know if it has been. I've heard conflicting reports, but that one had very unique activity, and really really weird story behind it. And I think probably what really drew me to that location, I'd watched several different investigators. I watched David Dean with the Unseen Realm, as well as Paranormal Quest from West Virginia. I had watched both of them investigate this location, and that's what really drew me in. And once I really started researching, I think what I was fascinated the most about was the fact that there was really no story that accounted for why they were having the different activity that we had. It was really just kind of a mystery. There was no stories of any type of death, no stories of any type of rituals or anything. So I really had to go in and research the area and find out, why would this area here in, middle America be haunted with the type of activity that it had. So that was a fun mystery for me. And then the other one was Willow's Weep, which is in Cayuga, Indiana.
mhm.
And so the story behind it, it's rumored to be the most evil house in America. Now, for myself, I didn't find it to be that way. I mean, I don't really, I love it. It's kind of weird because I love a dark story,
Mhm.
um, but I don't go seeking out negative entities. That's not
Right.
something
Right.
that I
We
like to
never
go.
do that, but we all know
Exactly.
that.
I'm fascinated by it,
Oh yeah.
just from
Yeah.
the claims. And this house had some really, to me, it was almost unbelievable claims because there were so many dark claims.
Right.
So it was interesting to go in. Now, I know several investigators that have investigated there that have had some really dark activity, was not able to stay there. They had had some really odd experiences. Now, it was a very odd investigation. However, I went in, investigated with another female. Usually, if I'm going to a darker location like that, I always have someone else with me,
Nice. Yeah.
and
Okay.
just to be safe. And
Mhm.
so, plus we had traveled a long ways to get there, and it was very odd, and it seemed to be more of an emotional type haunting activity, at least from what we experienced. But it, I mean, it. I didn't pick up anything evil. But that may have also
Right.
been our approach because we weren't going in really looking for that. We were just really going in trying to see if we could get some explanations for some of the type of activity that people were
Right.
getting. And
Right.
it was very emotional, very I don't know, just there was some um, physical haunting to it that we experienced with I know both myself, I was getting these weird phantom pains all over my body.
Hmm.
And the other investigator that was with me, she was doing that as well. And we were even talking about, we're like, this is the most painful investigation I've ever had. We weren't getting scratched, we weren't getting pushed or anything. It was just, you know how if you're somewhere you might get a phantom pain where or your chest start hurting or something where someone
Yeah.
maybe had a heart attack.
Right.
We were getting pains like that. And we found that we were both sitting there talking about a lot of different topics you wouldn't really typically talk about in a location like that. We're on this fun girls trip and we start talking about these emotional type topics. And all of this really, I mean, it really made sense to me when we went back and started looking at it that, the people who lived in there was a lot of depression, there were a lot of suicides,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of
Bit
a
lot of
lot of things
sorrow
of
out
that
there.
nature.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it
Yeah.
really kind of made sense to us why we were
Yeah.
experiencing some of the activity we were.
Yeah.
But that's been our experience with places in Ohio and Indiana.
Wow.
It just a different kind of haunting from what I've experienced in some other places.
Well, I would like to do, we go into a place like this last place. He wants to tell a story that other investigations did. We told me we didn't want to know any of that. We want to know what's going on there,
Hmm.
because then you're looking for that, or your
Yes.
mind's going to be just keyed into that thing and focused on it all night. And we don't
Hmm.
always do that. It's just I don't think
It's
that's the way that we go in. So
exactly. It's interesting. I want to know some of the stories. I don't necessarily want to know the activity or the hot spots that other people
right,
have got.
right, right,
Because I, like you, I either don't want to have that expectation set and then be disappointed if I don't get that type of activity,
right,
or I really just kind of want to go in and explore it for myself.
right,
So it's
right,
always interesting. And when we have people come here to the jail, we have different kinds. Some don't want to know anything, and others they say, tell me everything you know, and tell me
right,
everything other people have experienced.
right, right. Oh, you get the option. That's good. And some people
Yeah.
want to know. I think people want to know if there's anything that's bad in there. I guess just to make
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
But we never came across that really with any place. So
Yeah, and like we talked about a moment ago, I think that is also how you go in, and that's the type of people that I like to surround myself with are other investigators that they're not provoking. They really investigate to the type of place that it is. I mean,
right.
obviously, if you're in a jail, you may talk different to some of the
Mm-hmm.
spirits that are in the jail versus what you would talk to one of them that would be in a hotel
Right.
or in a cemetery. But as a whole, even though you may speak a little bit different or act a little bit different, it's more of a role playing thing. It's not provocation, and it's still respect for the location and respect for the people who run it and the respect for the
Right.
spirits who reside in it.
Right. And when you're people out on like my group, I've been together about 8 to 10 years in our group. So you're more in tune with them,
Yes.
and then like you're talking when we're there that we get used to like our voices. So if we hear on a recording of evidence, we'll know well that's Teresa or that's Don or that's Bill,
Hmm.
right away. So
Exactly.
that helps a lot too. And
It.
we just do great together. Yeah, we always have it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, because it can be hard, especially when you're in a stressful, intense type situation.
hmm
It's important to be with people you're comfortable with, and then
right,
also whenever,
right,
when you're listening to evidence, it's like you said, you really learn how to investigate with those people, because when people are in the heat of the moment, sometimes people don't realize. that they whisper or that they do say
Yeah.
stuff,
Right.
and they just do it unconsciously.
Well,
And so,
I do that too. I'll be on the evidence, and I think I don't remember saying that, or I can make weird noises doing something, put batteries down, people like, I realize
hmm
I'm doing it. Yeah, I
yeah,
get that a lot. I do that a lot.
yeah, talking to yourself or
Oh,
even
a
just,
lot. I do here at
yeah.
home. My son
Yeah,
says, "Why are you always talking to yourself?"
and a lot of the time people don't realize they're doing that. And so,
Oh yeah.
and things do sound different on a recorder than they do
Oh
in real
yeah.
life. And so, so I have multiple recorders, multiple audio, and so I like to always go and double check all of that just to check myself to make
Hmm.
sure that, I'm not, because in the heat of the moment, something in the room may look a certain way or sound a certain way, but when you go back and look, you're able to sort of debunk it or find a logical explanation.
Yeah. Um. Before we invite guests on our investigations, we tell them that if you want to say something, say it out loud. Don't whisper. Say
Right.
it out loud. All right.
Right. And always call when your stomach growls,
Oh,
because
that this
inevitably,
weekend.
inevitably at 2 or 3 in the morning, it seems like,
Yeah, I get that too.
yeah, the stomach always wants to growl. And
It's a monster.
yep, yep. You learn what to
It's
eat
the
before,
belly
and
monster. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. So
It's
yeah,
a hunger.
it's cool when people will call that out, because
Right, right. We all
you
do,
know,
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, that down stomach again going off. And
Yep, it's amazing how a stomach can sound like a voice.
oh, yeah, I know. It is. Or growl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like deep muck.
And that's all part of the fun of it too,
Oh,
is
we have
being
a
able
great
to.
time too. We do some jump scares sometimes, and it's just for the heck of it, But so they pick on Teresa, poor girl. Did you remember the? I don't know how often you went to Poachtown, but they had this African mask with dog ears. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes, I did see that.
Well,
Yeah.
Bill scared her with that one point.
That's
She
that's
goes,
always unnerving when
"Dirty
when
Bill."
places have those.
It lightens me a little bit. I mean, they can't do this to me. I'm gonna care. I'll fall over. So I'm not. They have to this to me. They just pick on me the way I talk. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
we had a great time there.
I like Post Town, and I'm looking forward to definitely going back and spending some more time there. And it's really cool that you get as much time there as you do. Getting
Yeah,
to
we
go
put
in
in.
fairly early and stay all day.
We were there 8 to 9 hours. That's good. Long night. Yeah, got a lot to do over.
A lot
But
of
I enjoy
footage.
it. I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
sat there like 4 hours in a row and just do it. And I fell asleep last night with it on my lap.
yeah. I mean,
If I start getting drowsy, I'll like bookmark it in audio so I never get back to
yeah. I enjoy going back and reviewing evidence,
it. Yeah, I see.
especially when I have the time to sit. And I really enjoy the audio evidence. Just because to me, it's it's harder to debunk some of the audio. If you're the only
Right,
female in a room and you're getting a male speaking Spanish,
right,
it's easier to really kind of understand that you may have caught something unexplainable versus, you can debunk sometimes if there's a lot of outside noise, contamination and
right.
such.
Like they had a dog barking in his house. He's out there
Hmm.
making noise. And crickets.
Yep. Yep. The pains of investigating outside.
So you want what did you do tomorrow?
Well, I am doing a haunted motorcycle ride tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. It's part of the third annual RM Brooks bike event. I've been really lucky to get to partner with RM Brooks store for the last 3 years. This is the first
Awesome.
year. Yeah, this is the first year that they're actually doing a spring and a fall bike event. And so they've had such great success during their, and I was one of the people in the very beginning who helped get the bike event organized there at the general store. The general store it's really cool. It's in Rugby, Tennessee, and it's fourth generation owned. So it's been around for a long time, and it's been kept in the same kind of style that it was back when it was originally opened. And so Tiffany, she runs it, and she does a car show and she does a bike show. And so being, I try to do a different route every time, but I call it a
Hmm.
haunting ride with Ghost Biker. And so because there's typically, over 100 bikes that go to the event every season.
Wow.
Yeah, it's grown into a really big event. The first bike event, they had 50 bikes, and then
You're gonna be out services.
yeah, there you go. And so it's grown every season, and so we're hoping, tomorrow is supposed to be 70 degrees here. Um, just beautiful, 70
Oh,
degrees, low humidity.
that's awesome.
So what I do is I always plan the ride to start in a different area. The rides typically are around an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and I go and I map it out through some of the most beautiful, historic, and haunted areas. And so the first ride that we did, we actually went and I looked at each of the different towns that we ride through. And some of these towns are not even towns, they're just essentially a little sign that says you're passing through this mountain community. Doesn't even have a stoplight, but they have a really big and interesting history because a lot of these mountain towns were created during mining time. So they've had,
Hmm.
dynamite and mine explosions. There is an area that we go through where the worst troop train accident actually filmed a video in
Wow.
one of the locations that we're riding through tomorrow. And then a Victorian utopian society that failed, but the town still exists, and they've kept
Oh,
it. Yeah, they've
what's that?
kept it
What's
like
that
it was.
called?
It's called Rugby,
Burglary.
and
Okay.
yeah, it's a really cool little
Oh,
location over
yeah.
there. And
Cool.
so what I try to do is I map out these areas, and then I release the stories and tell the people kind of where we're going. This ride, we're doing something a little different. We're actually stopping here at the jail at the midway point. So we'll ride about an hour in and ride through just some beautiful mountain twisty roads. We'll stop here at the jail for 45 minutes, and then we'll carry on over to the Brooks bike event. While the bikers are here, they'll be able to tour the jail, get refreshments, and
Oh,
then
cool.
and then when we get over to Brooks, there will actually be they'll have live music. They'll have food for purchase, and then just a ton of bikes. And I know they usually do a giveaway, so I always
Hmm.
have a ghost biker table set up over there, and so it's always a lot of fun. And I wasn't sure if we were going to get to do it this year or this fall, just because of
I'm good with
getting
that.
this open and
Yeah.
yeah, being really really busy, and it's right on the heels of season 4 starting. So
All right.
yeah, had a lot going on, but very excited about it and very happy that the
All
weather is
right.
going to cooperate with us.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody's down in this area and they want to tag along on the ride, all they need to do is go to the Ghost Biker Explorations Facebook page, check out the Haunting Ride with Ghost Biker event section, and if you can't ride, at least go over and check out the Brooks Bike event, which will start at 5. So all the information where it starts and everything is located on the page in the event section.
All right. Cool. I'll put all your information in the comments then too when it's
Perfect.
over from Facebook page.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's always great to speak with other teams and be able to interact with folks in the comment section as well as speaking with other teams about different
Right.
investigations and such.
And we're going to get down there too.
Absolutely. Just
Yeah.
let us know.
Yep. It's going to be Soul Sisters, you, and our team. How about that?
That's right.
How's that
That's
sound,
right.
Chris?
I bet she's probably still there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a lot of fun. I was thinking investigating with people and yeah, okay. I mean, you want to wrap it up?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yep. Chris is giving you the big thumbs up.
All right. Yay. Well, there we go. All right. I appreciate having you on, and um, maybe after you get your season 4, a couple months start back on again.
Absolutely.
After I get to watch all your episodes.
Absolutely. I would love it.
Yeah. All right. That's good. Let's sign off here. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and thanks Miranda again for being here, and thanks for people in chat who were involved also. Um, Time to say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy hunting.